DJI have sent to me the Power 1000 lithium phosphate battery. There are three key advantages to having this battery to go camping in your Jeep, and I'm going to review those with you. And what I'm going to show you is that the engineers have put some key features into this box that'll show you they were thinking outside the box. You'll see what I mean, so stick around. Hey, welcome to Cheaper Jeeper TV. I'm Dino, your host. Glad to see you here. I am so excited to be reviewing this lithium phosphate battery from DJI. DJI is known worldwide for making the best drones and action cameras out there, including other things like accessories for cameras, microphones, gimbals, those sorts of things. Their products are high quality and well respected. So when they sent me the Power 1000, I was very excited to have a look at this, because there's three main reasons why a battery like this is something you would want to have when you go camping in your Jeep. So advantage number one is the high capacity of this battery. This is the Power 1000 battery, so it has 1,024 watt hours of energy in it that you can use. You've seen some videos that I've put out where I've used, for example, the Jackery 500, but I've also used some higher capacity batteries. This battery is not only as high capacity as those, but it also has more capacity in terms of the power it can put out, not just the amount. What I mean is that this battery will put out a consistent power of 2,200 watts. Now that is huge. Not only, for example, can you power a coffee maker with a battery like this, but even an induction stovetop. So for example, I could have my laptop charging, I could have my camera batteries charging, I could have my phone, my wife's phone, I could have my drone batteries charging, I could have multiple things charging, and this battery can output enough power to keep them all going. This battery can also sustain a power output of 2,600 watts for 30 seconds. So if there's some kind of device where there's a surge when it starts up, it can handle it. Say for example, you have multiple items that you're charging, but one of the items that you've got plugged in, it could be even a space heater, puts out an extra bit of surge so that you've passed the 2,200 watt capacity of this battery. Well, this battery will sustain a surge of up to 2,600 watts for up to 30 seconds. So if something does surge for a little while, the battery won't shut down on you. Now, advantage number two is the fact that this is a very quiet battery. Just judging from the other batteries that I've used, when you're drawing a lot of power from them, if the inverter's working really hard, if you're juicing up the battery, when it gets hot, the fans kick in and they're kind of loud. Now, when you're camping inside the Jeep, those fans are noticeable. This is barely noticeable over the background noise. Lots of other reviews that I've even seen online where people have tested these and they have the tools and the instruments to measure the sound say that it's barely above the background noise. So that's a second key advantage to this battery. And now for the third key advantage that will make you want to get one of these for your Jeep when you go camping is the fast charging ability of this battery. For example, you can charge up this battery 1,024 watt hours of energy into here in 1 hour and 10 minutes. So just the ability to charge up this battery with that much power that quick is really nice, because you're not sitting around waiting to get this thing all powered up. Now, an interesting thing about how this battery has been engineered so it can get powered up so quickly is how DJI engineers have powered up the AC charger. Now this, what you see here, is your typical power cord. You see them plugged into computers and the such, and you don't see that typical power brick. That's because the engineers at DJI have engineered it inside the battery, and they've optimized the components so that using their battery management system, juice up the batteries in here safely without getting them overheated and keeping everything safe, and at the same time doing it so efficiently that it can top up this battery in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now I should point out to you at the front here, where you would plug in your power cord right there, is a switch where you can have it switched over to 1,200 watt fast charging, And if you didn't want to do it fast charge because it's easier on the battery if it's just on a 600 watt charge, you just flip the switch over and now it'll charge typically at 600 watts. Now you could leave it like that if you're not in a rush, but what I've come to understand is that if you put it on 1200 watts, it can fast charge like 5 times in a row before the battery management system will take over and let it go back to 600 watts so it can do some battery maintenance. So that's engineered inside this box to help keep this battery lasting longer. Now, lithium phosphate batteries last about 3,000 cycles before they're deteriorated to 80%, but that means you've got like 8 to 10 years of recharging this every single day, and after that amount of time you still have 80% capacity of this battery. So you're not likely to recharge your battery every single day. Maybe you do it twice a week, so it'll last like 16 to 20 years. So it's pretty good. This thing will last a long time, so it's a really good investment. So the key advantage of the fast charging of the battery is what I just discussed right here, but when you look at the 2 USB-A and USB-C ports, that allows you to do fast charging of your peripherals. For example, you could power up 2 MacBook PowerBooks in these 140 watt USB-C ports in 30 minutes. That's pretty impressive too. Now, you not only can fast charge this battery, some of your peripherals from the USB-A and USB-C ports, but you have these ports that you see right here, and these are proprietary ports from DJI called SDC, Smart DC ports. Now, the special thing that they've engineered into this battery that doesn't exist in other batteries are these ports, because these ports allow you to draw energy out of the battery or put energy into the battery. So for example, you can put solar panels plugged into each of these ports, and you could put up to 400 watts in each of these ports, so 800 watts worth of solar power could be put into the battery, charging this up in no time. Now, I hope to do another video showing you how the solar panels work, because the interesting thing about this battery is that it does not have an MPPT solar charge controller integrated in the battery. It is outside the battery and it plugs into this port, and it's in that external MPPT charge controller that you can plug in 3 solar panels in parallel into that external MPPT controller. Now, you could bolt those to the sides because they have these holes right here, these 1/4 inch threads. So the MPPT controller or controllers could be mounted here or could be remaining loose off to the side, and you can have 2 of them to allow you to do some fast solar charging as well. Now, that is how these ports could be used to charge up the battery using solar panels. But we all know when we're driving in our Jeeps, when we're going from one site to another, we'd like to charge up our batteries while we're driving from the cigarette lighter port of the Jeep. Well, they sell an adapter where you have the cigarette lighter plug that you plug into your dash, and you have this extension that you just plug into one of these ports here, and you'll be able to charge the battery using the cigarette 12-volt lighter port in your Jeep. Now, you can see, because there are 2 of these SDC ports of the battery, if you bought yourself 2 of these extensions, you could use the cigarette lighter port in the front of the Jeep and at the back of the Jeep at the same time and charge up this battery twice as fast. So there you go, where the engineers at DJI have come up with this system which gives you that added flexibility. So not only are you able to charge up this battery quickly using solar panels or using your 12-volt sockets from charging it with your Jeep, but you're also able to use these ports to charge up some items. For example, since this is a DJI battery, part of the reason they came up with this battery is to support all of the people out there who have DJI products. So your action cameras, your gimbals, your drones, they all have batteries that need to be charged. Well, the system here that they have with the powerful USB-C ports is handy, but these SDC ports allows you to fast charge your drone batteries to full capacity in about 30 to 32 minutes. That means you could be flying your drone, and when that battery is wearing out and you land the drone, you'll have another one charged up in that same amount of time. So you can conceivably just be swapping out batteries and be flying all day. So what DJI can do, since they've manufactured the drones and those batteries that have chips in them, is they can engineer this system which enables them to use their proprietary attachments, and they're specific per battery per drone. So if you've got the Air series, you would get the dongle for the Air series because that one is specifically engineered to help fast charge those batteries. So you would get the dongle that matches the drone that you have to take advantage of those fast charging capabilities. Now, if you wanted to power peripherals beyond using the USB-A and USB-C ports, for example, say these SDC ports, they do have dongles for that as well. So for example, you can see here, there's the SDC port right here, and your typical cigarette lighter socket. So with something like this, you can just have it plugged in here and plug in your fridge. Now again, you can see how the engineers at SDC were thinking outside the box, because with this system, if you had more than one fridge that you were powering, well, as long as there's a dongle for it, you can power both fridges off this battery. So you can see there's some built-in flexibility and possibly future options due to the design of this unit. For example, because these two ports allow you to put a charge into the battery or draw a charge from the battery, the possibilities are endless. Now, I haven't seen this made mention anywhere, but I wonder, is it possible if DJI ends up producing an external battery, if you're able to plug it into the SDC port so that you can have an expansion to your system? I don't know, kind of makes sense. So those are the three key advantages and the reason why you might want to have a battery like this in your Jeep when you go camping. The high capacity, it's 1,024 watt hours and it can sustain 2,200 watts of output. Number two, the fact that it's very quiet. The amount of noise that comes out of these vents here is basically just background noise. And number three, the faster and more advanced charging capabilities of this battery. So those are the three key advantages that might be why you might want to consider getting a battery like this for your Jeep when you go camping. So if it really has all that capacity and power, if it really operates so quiet, and if it really does charge and recharge so fast, what would happen if I plug in my MacBook Pro, my rechargeable lithium battery for my hand tools, my iPhone 15 Pro Max, my remote controller for my drone, 3 drone batteries, and my wife's MacBook Air, and my IceCo 12-volt refrigerator? Well, you'll have to subscribe and hit the alert bell because I'll be covering this next week. Back to the show. I guess that was a little commercial for next week's video where I'm going to show you how the battery works and what it's like to live with the DJI Power 1000. Now, there is another thing that they've made for this battery that I find very interesting that I want to share with you in this video. And that's the carrying bag that has been designed for this battery. And when you see some of the features here, again, you're going to see how the engineers really were thinking outside the box when they put this whole package together. And what I'd like to show you is the carrying bag that they've engineered for this battery. Now, the battery has those conveniently located handles on both ends of the battery so you can just lift it up with both your hands. But sometimes you'd like to carry a battery with one hand. Well, by using this bag, you're able to carry the battery with the handle of the bag. So if you want one handle, you've got it with the bag. Now, the other interesting thing is there's a zipper at the back, which allows you to open and close this pocket to store your power cable and your adapters and peripheral cords. Everything fits in there really nice. Very nice quality bag. And now the other thing that I want to show you is how they have these little pockets out here at the side to allow the vents to release heat from the battery when it's overheating, and you could just tuck these little zippered ends into the pocket at the end, and that keeps it open. And the way that the battery has been shaped and engineered with those handles that go off to the side, not only does it make it so that you can't put this flush against the surface, so you always are going to have a gap to permit ventilation, but it actually kind of puts a cover over this vent here so it keeps any rain or dust from getting into the unit because of the way this is shaped here. So I think that's pretty clever as well. But here's the part that I really like. There's this zipper pocket right here. And with the handles in place, this can just stay up and you have access to all the ports in the battery right here. So you can leave it in the case. A lot of times the battery's just sitting outside the Jeep when you're camping and the solar panels are just putting the charge into the battery, and you might not be next to it. If it was dusty, if wind was blowing dust around, or if it was possibly going to rain, it's not of concern because you've got it all protected in the bag and everything is accessible to you or for your wires or your cords to be plugged in. So this is really nice. And then of course you've got the same vent pocket right here that allows you to utilize the whole battery, allows the exhausting of air and the access to the ports, and a single handle if you wanted, and the pouch at the back. So this is very nice. So those are the things that I like, but I am interested in your impressions. What are your impressions about the capacity of this battery and the amount of power that it supports? Not only just the 1024 watt hours of juice that you have in this battery to charge up your peripherals, but also the capacity of power that it can output in terms of being able to charge a number of items all at the same time, or the ability to charge high-powered items like a heater and the such. And then what do you think of the fast charging abilities of this? I mean, for the price of this battery, and it can only go based on what's on the websites right now, the price of this battery is very competitive compared to any of its competitors. Some of them might come close in terms of having the same amount of capacity, but in terms of the power that they can support, this one far surpasses a lot of its competitors, but the price is less. So I kind of think that the engineers at DJI have put a lot of thought into this box that shows that they were thinking outside of the box. What are your thoughts on some of the features that I shared? Please put them in the comment section below, and if you have any questions, I'll be sure to answer them. Hey, that's it for this week's episode of Cheaper TV. I hope that you found it interesting. And if you did, how about giving the video a thumbs up? And if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button right here and the alert bell so you'll be notified when the next video is released. Until the next time, I'm Dino for Cheaper TV. Be well, stay safe, take care.